Good afternoon, YouTube. Round 2 of trying to go into this video. We're going to talk more about kelp today. The first attempt was full of static and, well, let's be honest. Let me get your attention now. We're going to talk about fuel efficiency in Minecraft. So even if you don't normally watch my channel, you might want to watch this one. This isn't so ridiculous. We're going to talk about fuel here today. More specifically, fuel efficiency. And then the best way to maximize whatever fuel source you're using. Be that coal, charcoal, blaze rods, dried kelp blocks, blocks of coal, or lava. Those are the most common ones that we utilize here. Now, in my previous video, I was talking about kelp and how when you're smelting kelp to get more kelp for dried kelp blocks, you're suffering a loss there. Smokers are typically the way that you'll see this in every single dried kelp block farm. Why? Because it does the job really well. Campfires are better. End of story. But if you're going to use the smoker because it looks a lot cleaner and you're not having to do a bunch of janky things with rails and mine carts here, let's talk about how to properly power that smoker. You don't want to waste your kelp to make more kelp. That's nonsense. Because, well, here, let's go over this. Your one block of kelp will smelt you 20 items. You lose 9 of those dry items because you have to cook more kelp in order to replace the block for an 11 items net gain. This is resulting in per kelp, a 2.22 gain from that initial 9 that you use to the total. Now, here's the thing, is this kelp block to this ratio of fuel, it doesn't matter where you're getting it from. If you get it from a kelp block, okay, but you don't have to. Kelp can be hard to get in mass. So that factor of 2.2 is going to apply to any fuel you use in a smoker to amplify its initial power. So if you have a lava bucket in a smoker, you can smoke 100 dry kelp items to get 100 dried kelp. So that's going to give you an 11.1 dried kelp blocks. Each kelp block will smelt 20 items. Do that math, it comes out to 222. So 100 initial smelting power of that lava bucket. By running it through a smoker to convert that over to dried kelp blocks, you have that 2.22 increase. This ratio applies to any single thing you put in that smoker. Coming out, you have your charcoal. You put it in there, you're going to get a 8 times 2.22, which is going to 16.44, something around there. No matter what you put in to this smoker right here, if you use it to smelt your kelp, you're going to get this increase of 2.22 and not waste kelp blocks that can be, or dry kelp growth that can be a little tricky when you have a massive farm setup. But there are 2 other ways to increase fuel efficiency. The first one is coal. If you take 1 coal block and you multiply that, that will do 8 items. Times 9 will give you 72 items for 9 coal. If you craft that coal into a coal block, it will let you smelt 80 items for an increase of 1.11 times of a charcoal, or a coal block to a, 9 coal to 1 coal block. You get that extra 8 items for a 1.1 times efficiency. But for some reason, of all things, Bedrock, because why wouldn't it, you have slabs. You can take 1 block of, let's say, birch, because birch is garbage. Smelt it to get 1 charcoal, that's going to give you 8 items. That same log is the equivalent of 4 planks, that is the equivalent of, 4 planks, that's the equivalent of 8 slabs. Those 8 slabs will smelt 12 items. For a gain of 1.5 times more efficient. This 1 birch log is 1.5 times more efficient to turn in the slabs first and then run them through the smoker. That's then going to turn into your kelp power. That's going to increase that initial log's value of items smelted per hour to 3.3. The most fuel efficient item in the game is the lowly log. Take the log. Turn the log into slabs, run them through a smoker to smelt your kelp, take your dried kelp block, put it in a furnace, and the initial power of that 1 little log is 3.3 times more efficient Please check my math in the comments. The birch log is the meta of fuel efficiency in the world of Minecraft. Behind it, by quite a bit actually, is the coal block. You take that 1.11 efficiency increase, multiply it by your 2.2, and this initial block to take your coal, turn it into coal blocks, you'll increase its smelting power by 2.442. Gotta love those decimal places. 3.3. What's the lesson here? Kelp through the birch through the kelp block is the meta of fuel efficiency in Minecraft. Yeah, the campfire's better to use, but the big advantage of the campfire is you're not having the mess, you're not wasting valuable kelp here in order to get more. So if you're gonna use a smoker, use one of these other fuel items, not kelp blocks. Get that 2.22, but if you really want to go all the way, take that birch log, stick it in an auto crafter, stick that into another auto crafter, feed it into the back of the smoker, get your 1.5% increase, smelt those kelp out into that dried kelp to get your kelp block for another 2.22 increase, and come out ahead with the ultimate 3.3 times initial. Birch is not worthless anymore. Old Rusty out. And yes, it's raining because it's a sad day. Birch is useful. Now I'm just sad.